Now today's topic is respiratory system. The respiratory system is a complex network of organs and tissues that work together to enable breathing, supplying oxygen to the body cells while removing the carbon dioxide, a waste product of metabolism. The respiratory system it is a component, its components and function as follows. Primary functions of the respiratory systems. First is the gas exchange. The primary function is the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the air and the blood. Second is the regulation of the blood pH. By the regulating the blood level of CO2 in the blood, the respiratory system maintains the acid-base balance. Third is the protection. The respiratory tract filters out the foreign particles and pathogens. Vocalization. Air movement through the vocal cord produces the sound. Major components of the respiratory system. First is the upper respiratory tract. In that, first is nasal cavity, also known as nose. Functions: filter, warms, and humidifies the inhaled airs. Structure like a line with the mucosa membrane and cilia to trap the particle and the pathogens. Second is the pharynx. Functions of pharynx is the passageway for air and food. Structure divided into nasopharynx and oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Third is the larynx. Larynx is also known as voice box. It helps to produce sound and protect trachea by closing during the swallowing. Structure like a contain vocal cords made of cartilage, including the epiglottis, which prevent the fruit from entering the airway. Lower respiratory tract. In that trachea is also known as windpipe. Functions of trachea is connected to larynx and bronchi, provide a clear airway for the enter and exit the lungs. The reinforced with the C-shaped cartilage rings to maintain its shape. Bronchi and bronchioles. It is used to conduct the air from the trachea to alveoli. Structure of bronchi. The trachea divided into main two bronchi, right and left, which are branched into small bronchi and the bronchiole, becoming the progressively narrower. Alveoli. Alveoli is the site of gas exchange. It is a tiny in structure and balloon-like sac surrounded by capillaries. Walls are 1 thick to facilitate diffusion of gas. Lungs. It is the main organ of the respiration. It is house of the bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli. Its structure look like each lung divided into lobes. One have 3 lobes on the right and 2 on the left, covered by the double layer pleural membrane. Visceral and partial pleura, with the pleural cavity in between containing lubricating fluid to reduce the friction during breathing. Diaphragm. The intercostal muscle is used to primary muscle involved in the breathing. Diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle that separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. It contracts and flattens to increase thoracic volume during inhalation. Intercostal muscle. It is located between the ribs and assisting the expanding and contracting the chest cavity. Breathing mechanism. In that, inhalation is also known as expiration. Diaphragm contracts and moves downward. Exter- External intercostal muscle contracts, lifting the ribcage. Thoracic cavity volume increases, reducing the internal pressure and allowing to air to flow into lungs. Exhalation is also known as expiration. Diaphragm relaxes and move upward. Intercostal muscle relaxes, lowering of the ribcage. The thoracic cavity volume got decreases and increase the internal pressure and forcing out of the lungs. Gas exchange process. First is in alveoli. Oxygen from inhaled air diffuses across the alveolar walls into the surrounding capillaries. Carbon dioxide from the blood diffuses into the alveoli to be exhaled in the second in the blood. Oxygen binds to the hemoglobin molecules in RBC to be transported to tissue. Carbon dioxide, a product by cellular metabolism, is transported back to the lungs in three forms: dissolved in the plasma, bound to hemoglobin, and as a biocarbonated ion. Control of breathing. Respiratory centers, which are located in the medulla oblongata and the pons of the brainstem. This center regulated the rate of depth of breathing. Chemical sensors, chemoreceptor in the brain and blood vessels monitor the level of CO2 and O2 and blood pH, and also adjusting the breathing rate accordingly. Protection mechanism. Cilia and mucus trap the moving particle out of the respiratory tract. Cough reflexes expel the irritant from the trachea and bronchi. Immune cells. Macrophages in the alveoli engulf the pathogen and debris. The respiratory system is essential for the maintaining life, facilitating the exchange of gases that are vital cellular function and overall metabolism. Proper function of this system is critical for sustaining the body's energy production and homeostasis.